So there's one thing that most city sleepers don't understand about Australia. If there's a fucking sign that says sheep crossing, everyone's got to stop. You can't. Sheep do what sheep do. They're noisy and they cause a ruckus, you know. And people used to be more familiar with that until they let all these tourists here. And the tourists are just getting involved with and the sheep are dying because we can't move them properly. And it disturbs international relations. The Japanese people have just all of a sudden realised that they love lamb. And so we've got this complicated thing because look, it is to do with property, but there is a right of way. There's a right of way through agreement held in Hobart at the moment. This is a fucking nightmare to keep track of all this. Contracted here for this job here to move these fucking sheep from here through Japan and through that it has an unfortunate name. It's called the Road of Bones through Mongolia and Kazakhstan. But the sheep love it there. And Mongolians haven't seen a drove like this in a long time, and they love it because they love lamb as well and wool, because that's how they live there. They need all that wool from all our sheep. So they shear them there in Mongolia and Kazakhstan. So they have all the wool. It's fucking wonderful. And they take some meat. And the herd gets strong because of the movement of the herd. And then through Mongolia, through Kazakhstan, finally to hit Ukraine and rejuvenate the land there, all the way up to John O'Groats in Scotland. And then all the way back again. Yeah, and we've been trying to tell the Russians and the Chinese about this, and they aren't getting the message. And we'd appreciate assistance in this shepherding of these sheep through this region. Okay, and we'd appreciate it if China would sort out its fucking problem in Gaza and, for God's sakes, put some of those Palestinians in some of those empty fucking apartment buildings you've got and stop making iPhones for 5 minutes. And Russia, stop drinking so much vodka just for a second and realise that you've won whatever it is exactly that it was you were fighting about. I guess it's this, to have a conversation. If you want some lamb, there will be, pretty good price. And if you want some wool, there'll be some pretty good prices. It's pretty simple stuff. Yeah? Just because we're walking through doesn't mean we fucking think we own the fucking place. We've never fucking owned the place. We do own this place. That's pretty well established. We don't own that place. We just walk fucking through. Now, if this all happens just nicely, a big peaceful fucking shepherd fucking moving his flock across the Road of Bones, really conceptually from Hobart to John O'Groats, or to Inverness, more importantly, in Scotland, then I guess anything in the world can be negotiated, can't it? And that's sure as hell better than fucking, a repeat of that Mongol situation, which, let's face it, they were a horrific bunch. At least I have a little cottage here that I'm building. You know what I mean? I don't fucking live in a fucking tent. That doesn't get you very far. It's a good place to, start and have a ponder of where you're going to put your first 4 rocks, but we cannot have a repeat of the fucking whole Mongol situation. So this little fucking shepherding exercise through the fucking Road of Bones, through Mongolia and Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Germany. Once we get to fucking Germany, Germans are going to be like, what have we been doing? Oh my God, this sheep, oh my God, we are so lost. Half of them are going to want to fucking stroll through Kazakhstan and Mongolia and reacquaint themselves with fucking you know, the simple fucking existence of life. So that is why there is absolutely no fucking DJs on this fucking exercise, because that would be stupid. There's just sheep and there's guitars and there's probably going to be Hugh Jackman. And potentially Nicole Kidman as well is going to be there. Maybe somewhere in the whole mess of it. Fucking imagine that. You might bump into Hugh Jackman or fucking Nicole Kidman while you're on the largest fucking drove known to man with a fuckload of fucking sheep. And everybody gets to have lamb, which is great when we get to Turkey or Turkmenistan, because gosling, of course. And we bring all that nutrient there so that we can replant all your fucking nonsense fucking desert from too much concentration on gosling, not enough concentration on moving fucking sheep. And so it came down to a Scottish, old English, fucking Tasmanian, fucking West Australian Jew-ish, potentially Jewish, but I fucking don't know, to move all these sheep up through that fucking region and then move them back. And maybe by the time we fucking move them back here, the wheat belt or the sheep belt will have had a bit of a breather from all the sheep. And if we can time this just right, see, the crucial element is we've got to figure out how to get these sheep from Queensland to Japan. How do we do that? How on earth do we do that? You know? Do we or Darwin to Japan? Who knows? We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure that one out. But something will come. I think we've got. Oh, they've just fucking dropped off their little display ship, which is like a display house, but it's a display ship in Darwin, I think. So that's a good. I can aim for Darwin. Give me a little while. And then it's just Darwin to fucking Japan. I don't know. There's that Indonesia kind of, it's like India. Whew. The Indians eat lamb, some of them do. Maybe we can scratch fucking up through Indonesia and just kind of island hop on like barges through India. But we've got to get to Japan, you see. There's that, and then Mongolia. And I'll have to look a bit closer at that. I'll have to zoom in a little bit more because it's been a long time. But basically we need a astronomical amount of sheep that are destroying Western Australia to graze through Mongolia and Kazakhstan to fill themselves up and provide the Mongolians and the Kazakhstan people with plenty of wool and meat and sheep to invigorate their flocks. They're hardy sheep. These are fucking hardy sheep. They have been bred in the hardest conditions. They are going to absolutely fall over themselves on this journey. They're going to be, and also it's like all that skill set, the interplay between the Australian shepherd families and the Mongolian, Kazakhstanian families, and that whole, Ukraine, Germany, that whole fucking, to come together and discuss moving animals is way better than a bunch of Nazis standing on Sydney Harbour Bridge, I'd say. You know what I mean? It's a logistical exercise that has absolutely nothing to do with Jesus. Okay? It is a negotiation between interesting and diverse and historic bonds re-established, appropriate stories told, appropriate histories told, and it just puts a little fucking line between Russia and China. It just puts it's like a little oi. If you fuckers ever for a second think that you're ganging up to fucking become the Mongol fucking empire again, you better fucking hope to hell that you're not trying to do that on iPhones. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think there was people that used to do this long time ago. I don't know where they all went, but I'm guessing some of them ended up in Tasmania. That sounds like who would go to Tasmania a long time ago? It sounds like it. It's like, fuck, yeah, I reckon that's who it is. And then, so I guess the war is over in Ukraine. Zelensky should probably go to jail, I'd say, because he was playing piano with his penis and he wasn't trying to figure out how to feed that region anyway. Comedians are useful for making you chuckle. They're not usually very good to be a puppet president for the downfall of half of the United States. Thankfully, now in safe hands of another Scottish man, descendant, Scotsman. And I'm guessing, I reckon I can get some. Who wants to buy some lamb and some wool? It's cold in Scotland. So, yeah. Maybe, if possible, if we really if we nail this, we could move cows back the other way. I reckon cows from Scotland back the other way. And remember, when I say it's the Road of Bones, it's not. It's a big area. It's a big Now, this is where India comes in, all right? If India wants to fucking play ball with this, if India wants to fucking get a bit of this beef, fucking wool, fucking lamb thing going on, I'd appreciate some fucking elephants. You know what I mean? I really would appreciate some fucking elephants because I have a few inklings about elephants, and I have a feeling if we can carefully get elephants to Tasmania, that we will be amazed what happens when we get elephants to Tasmania. If we do it slowly and carefully. Not Alexander the Great fucking death glory before I'm fucking even got my fucking wisdom teeth fully come through. This might happen. My great grandson may perhaps be able to bring the woolly mammoth back to life by slowly bringing Indian elephants from India through Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and up to fucking Inverness, and then down to Hobart, because they've got to be ready for it. But I reckon between a herd of sheep, a herd of cattle, and a herd of elephants, and strappy crew of drovers, and obviously all the other things that go with it, shearers and butchers and people that do make the negotiations with the meats and things like this, horse riders. Horses as well will obviously be part of it. Yeah. A beautiful horse culture, really, that runs through that whole region. Japan, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Germany, Ukraine, Holland, France, Britain, United Kingdom. We just didn't know that we could do this on horseback. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. We've really kind of just bypassed all this nonsense going on in Victoria and Sydney and fucking Queensland. Don't get me started on fucking Queensland. No, the largest part of Queensland is fine. It's just really that one bit. That's fine. That's where Chris Hemsworth and all that live, and that's where all those towns. And there's really good surf there. So that's, they get a fucking excuse, and there's all the theme parks there. That's like, and Robert Irwin's there as well. But the rest of Australia needs a bit of a muster, a bit of a drove. And it's lucky that the most famous Kazakhstanian used to be married to our own Isla Fisher. But I can't tell whether he's actually from Kazakhstan or whether he was just pretending to be from Kazakhstan. It doesn't matter, though. It made me aware of the place. And I'll put aside everything that was going on there, and I'll look forward to meeting the unique, wonderful culture of Mongolian, Kazakhstani, Ukrainian, German, Turkey, Kazakhstan, and of course the Russians and the Chinese. It's like a river runs through that gap, but it's not a river of water. It's a river of trade and wonderfulness, and I think there's a couple of rivers as well. And if all of this is absolutely unrealistic, and if we should continue to fucking train monkeys to fucking kill each other with Game Boys, and then please disregard this message and get back to doing whatever is so absolutely urgent and necessary that it must take place 24/7, 365 days a year, 4 channels, plus the internet, constantly terrifying us into forgetting how slow and beautiful and wonderful the world was before all this nonsense. So yeah, everything is the same. Everything is a fractal. Whatever happens in a small scale, some good chances that it's going to work in the larger scale. And we can't have the greatest minds and people stuck in it on a game when they could have the adventure of their life doing something like this, participating in something like this. Couldn't they? Imagine the culture that will emerge on this migration. It's the opposing. It's not the metropolitan melting pot. Although let's now just, thank you for the metropolitan melting pot that has given us this. But this is the counterbalance of that. This is the non-metropolitan melting pot counterbalance, which holds the majority of the world's people that really don't wish for much except a warm yurt covered in Australian merino wool and perhaps some fucking lamb testicle soup or some yak milk or something. Do you know? It is horrendous that Joe Biden tried to do what the Mongols did with OnlyFans. Really is what it seems like. OnlyFans. This doesn't have the same kind of fucking thing to it, does it? It's like, oh, you go, oh shit. That's what the world was doing. Oh fucking hell, nothing's changed. Get those Palestinian people to fucking China right now and put fucking cameras with them, and let's reality TV show this. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Are they going to go to Taiwan? I think they're going to have to go to fucking Taiwan. It seems like the Palestinians are going to have to go to fucking Taiwan. You know? I don't know. Which you think it's all these computer chips made in Taiwan under constant threat of invasion by China while they're it's a mess of a situation. We're going to have to fucking, lucky we've got them all. I mean, you're never ever going to know in a million years ever again whether you have 600 cameras pointed at you or whether you are a lunatic talking to yourself. Yeah. Oh, well. Now that we're all in that same old boat, I'd send a clear message across to Penny Wong and say, you better get some fucking Chinese ships to go and pick up those Palestinian people. And you better celebrate it as China cleaning up China's mess. Because unlike, massacres in the past that the Chinese have committed, this one's got some fucking optics on it. Because you made the cameras and you put the things together. Yeah. So I hope you like lamb. And when you get your big woolly Chinese jumper, you'll remember all the times before that this has happened over and over and over again in lots of different ways. This one's the most interesting. Also the most dishonourable. And I know that one's, interesting. Oh, you called us fucking this, you called us that. How dare he call us dishonourable? Well, fucking how else would you explain this? This is the most dishonourable fucking attempted war that has ever existed in the history of man. You blackmailed the world by destroying it with... We haven't incorporated this yet. We're always in a thing of balancing out our own demons. Like, you weren't part of us. The Russians, they've just been looking after Russia, and that's a different story. But the Chinese, very quiet, very sneaky, not very nice. Not very nice. So when you look north and you see a fucking horseback fucking migration of sheep, West Australian sheep, going from Hobart in Tasmania all the way to Inverness in Scotland, or John O'Groats in Scotland, you'll look up and you'll see a bunch of fucking people that you never want to fuck with again. And I guess you'll look to the left and remember what happened last time you tried to fuck with Japan. You will look to the right and remember that Indians have fucking elephants. And I guess you'll start feeding the pandas better. You know what I mean? And look after them. Look after those panda bears. We don't want anything to happen to the panda bears. Okay? that'll do it. I look forward to standing at the top of Scotland and probably drinking a Guinness with a big woolly jumper on.